Well, they finally turned the tables on me. Taking over my spot as host, Don Rickles proved that behind that warm smile, there's a hothead.
Tonight, we are honoring our man of the hour, Dean Martin. You heard the applause, Dean? I'd worry. Can you imagine him, huh? Imagine him if he was in the infantry in World War II. Attack! Oh, I want to go lay down first. And so, who are we honoring tonight? A man who has trouble finding his legs. What an exciting night, folks. You can't believe I have chills. Just looking around, seeing all these people. Senator Goldwater, sorry about the election. So close. You could have been the president. We could have hung out together. Gee. How you feel, Bob? Spoke to the Texaco company. You're going to blow up Thursday. Bless you, Bob. Keep that image. They don't know at home you run around in your underwear going, "Where's Dolores?" You remember Dolores, the missus? Jimmy? I spoke to the family. You're doing well. You're doing well, Jimmy. Spoke to the wife. She's leaving you. Hey, listen, it's such a great thing to see all these wonderful guests, Dean, to see Howard Cosell. And I'll tell you, Howard, from the bottom of my heart, you can't even tell. It's perfect. Come on, Senator, I laughed at you when you lost. Good to see Angie Dickinson sitting next to Joe Namath. When I blow the whistle, yell hike. Anyway, Jimmy, morning. Last night he fell into his own pants. But it's your night, boy. It's your big night. And I'm perspiring. I'm getting malaria. The Japanese guy went, "Oh, goody, goody."
In his way, Dean, and I know him very well, has the soul of a poet. I'm told that in his most famous song, Dean offers a lyric which is so romantic, so touching, that it will be enjoyed by generations of lovers until the end of time. Let's share it together. When the moon hits your eye, like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Now, that's what I call touching, Dean. It has all the romanticism of a Tidy Bowl commercial. When the world seems to shine like you have had too much wine, that's amore. What a profound thought. Should be inscribed forever on a cocktail napkin.
So you're the man of the hour. I can't tell you what a thrill it is to be here. The only thing I'd give this up for is being guest of honor at a flash flood. I suppose I'm here because I did some of Dean's variety shows. They were television's first family hour, if you happen to come from a broken family. In case you're interested, Dean and I don't socialize very much. We have very different tastes. I prefer museums, gourmet cuisine, legitimate stage. Dean likes bocce ball. Pizza and the Pussycat Theaters.
I'm proud to list Dean Martin as a dear, close friend. And to show the depth of his friendship, at my last re-election, Dean drank to my good health. He also drank to an armadillo. This being an election year, I feel that it's healthy for our country to have as wide a choice of candidates as possible. What I'm suggesting, it's not too late for a new candidate. And for those who aren't gone on Ron or all aboard for Ford, I proudly offer a third choice, Dino's or Bambino. Yes, there's room in our political spectrum for the man of the hour. If not president, then maybe something even more important, senator. My candidate believes in equal opportunity for women. He chooses all the gold diggers personally. To find out if they give off the right vibrations, he has the most unusual test. He taps each gold digger with a tuning fork, leaving no stern untuned.
Now listen, you're so good as a detective in movies. I thought maybe you could do an episode of Policewoman. I can just see us together, Pepper and Schlepper. We'd have the script tailored just, for your image and talent. We'd have the scene where you jump out of the car and you'd say, okay, up against the fender, and I'm going to frisk you from head to toe, and I hope it's me. And then we'd get back in to our patrol car after I'd persuade you to stay on the force. And we'd go to a neighborhood filled with people doing dangerous, unpredictable things. My jaws are so tired.
Hey, this isn't a dentist show. Just do your act and get off. Well, that's the idea. Now do your job. I'm wondering, Dean.
Let's get back in the alley.
One thing you have to say about Dean, he knows how to relax. I remember we did a picture together called Bandolero several years ago, and Dean was forced to jump off a 3-story building. And he was forced to do it. And right in the middle of it, he fell asleep. I got something to tell you a little more serious than that, because I want to do it at this time. On that same picture, Dean saved me from drowning. As a matter of fact, he saved my life. It was we were doing this scene, and we were crossing a river, and I fell off my horse, and Dean rescued me and pulled me to shore and gave me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And, you can't imagine what effect mouth-to-mouth resuscitation from Dean Martin can have on you. I was going back to my hotel room to learn my lines and study the scene for the next day, and all of a sudden I said to myself, oh, to heck with it. I'll just show up when the cameras start and read it off the cue cards. And then the next day, during lunch break, without knowing it, I found myself in a phone booth calling a gold digger. Would you believe it? I ended up with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis. We were on our way to Acapulco. They're having a big blast down there. So, Dean, if it's okay with you, the next time you see me drowned, just leave me there.
It's not that Dean drinks. It's what he does when he drinks. I mean, asking Kate Smith to go to Hawaii for the weekend. Going to an orthopedic hospital and singing Breaking Up is hard to do. I mean, I've heard of guys having blackouts. But Dean can't remember anything that happened between the years 67 to 71.
But Dean, as I sat here and listened to your friends talk about you, I was amazed. Really, I've never heard such scurrilous things being said about anyone who wasn't running for office. Some of you out there in election land may wonder what a politician is doing on a show business roast. But why not? the fine line between show business and politics is getting finer all the time. In fact, one of our distinguished opponents from the other side, as you know, is a former actor. I don't want to mention his name because according to the equal time rule, if I do, I'll have to mention the names of every other candidate, and we would be here till way after the 11 o'clock news just with the Democrats alone. Now tonight in 1976, our bicentennial year, we have come to honor Dean Martin as the man of the hour. But I believe that Dean could have been the man of any hour in our nation's glorious history. Why can't you just see Dean at the very birth of our nation? You know, the Revolutionary War. He may not have fired the shot heard round the world, but he would have drunk it. And you know. Dean, that you probably are related to the original discoverer of America. He too was an Italian. When he started out, he didn't know where he was going. He didn't know where he was when he arrived. And he didn't know where he had been when he got home.
I feel kind of close to this wrinkled old wrangler. Because Howard Hawks and I sort of broke him into westerns. Before that, he'd made a lot of musical junk, you know, kissing girls, guys leaping all over, singing and dancing, fancy costumes, you know, that red silk handkerchief. Well, the first time he showed up on the set, Rio Bravo, he was decked out all right in authentic cowboy outfit, but he had that red silk handkerchief hanging out of his holster. I pointed out to him that his pretty jingling silver spurs sounded musical, but that he had them on backwards. Incidentally, partner, that Durango Motel says you still owe him $200 for the ripped sheets. And the cocktail waitress figures at $9 ought to about due for the pantyhose.
I've known Dean for many years, and I consider it an honor and a privilege to have been associated with and know Dean. People say, does he drink? Some people say, no, he doesn't. He pretends. One night he pretended so well, it took 3 guys to carry him home. He does not pretend. Dean Martin drinks. Don't let anybody tell you any different. I saw him one night walking around with a snake in his hand trying to kill a stick. You have not lived until you have seen Dean Martin in a drunken stupor whistling for his dog. Here, boy.
I remember when this piffle pixie was a Cub Scout. The happy hours we spent of a summer evening sitting around a campfire in our little short pants, roasting our weenies. And, of course, warming our buns.
Thank you. I'd be delighted to be here at these auditions. But television is wonderful to do this, and television needs another Dean Martin roast like the CIA needs a press agent. But this is a great night. This night is about as exciting as watching the Walton family paper train their pet rock. Dean has always made news. Even as a kid, he made medical history. He was the first 7-year-old to have a liver transplant. Yes, he's been drinking since he was 7. His family didn't know he drank until one day they saw him sucking on a popsicle with an olive in it. Dean got his start in show business singing with a Sammy Watkins band in Cleveland. He got $7 a night, 9 when he didn't show up. In spite of it all, Dean is one of America's great sex symbols. He's sort of a marinated Burt Reynolds.
This gentleman in the business, everybody, from the day I first started on television, was Dean Martin's show with Greg Garrison, and they put 40 million celebrities in the audience, including Mr. Hope at the time. And just every star that was available came to watch me, and I perspired, and I said to Dean, I'm frightened to death, my goodness. And he said, no, you'll be great, Pally Boom and Greg Garrison. They believed in me, and they gave me an opportunity to be on Dean's show. He's an unusual man. You do not see him at too many social functions. He's not a crowd waver. He's just a beautiful human being that the entire industry says, like every guy turns around and says, boy, to be in Dean's company is a fun thing because he's a guy's guy. I will not say too much because he would be the first one to say, hey, Pally, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, a guy that's loved, Mr. Dean Martin.
Say this is a distinguished-looking dais, or dais. I never knew what it was, dais or dais. It looks like the board of directors of a massage parlor. I really feel honored that Senator Goldwater elected to grace this dais tonight. Tonight is the second time Barry Goldwater has made the people laugh. First time was when he ran for the presidency. When you think of great comedy teams, you have to include Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, Rowan and Martin, all great comedy teams of the past. You know, I've been with NBC for over 20 years, and I'd like to thank you all for your loyalty and for looking in and sharing some laughs with us. I hope my most talented friends and I have provided you with a lot of them this evening. This has been the most memorable evening for me, thanks to Jimmy Stewart, Senator Barry Goldwater, Gene Kelly, Gabe Kaplan, John Wayne, Howard Cosell, Joey Bishop, Paul Lynde, Georgia Engel, Rowan and Martin, Tony Orlando, Angie Dickinson, Senator Hubert Humphrey, Nipsey Russell, Ruth Buzzy, Bob Hope, Foster Brooks, Orson Welles, Charlie Callis, Rich Little, Muhammad Ali, and Joe Namath. And my host, my dear, dear friend, Mr. Don Rickles. Good night, everybody.